myself, and I know we're really proud to have representation from Chase Allen, who is a guy that's played a lot of football for us. We're certainly really proud to be here. We're excited to be here, and we know that we play a very good opponent and a very good team from the defensive side of things. And I think from us having the opportunity to represent Iowa State football, we're extremely grateful and humbled by the opportunity to be here at the Cheez-It Bowl. And with that, we look forward to going out there and doing our best in terms of competing and hopefully finding ourselves in an opportunity to try to win a football game. So with that, if anything you guys have, certainly would love to help you out.
You can raise your hand, we'll get a mic over to you.
Tom, how do you handle the running back situation? Can Jarrell handle all the carries, or you burn a red shirt, or how's that work out?
Yeah, I think we have to find out. Certainly I think we feel like we have options, but Jarrell is a guy that has played a lot of football for us. Certainly Brees has carried the football a lot more, I think, as we all know, and I think we have to get in the football game and see exactly where we're at in terms of handing the football off and how much we can handle, and then make some decisions based on that.
Sure. Front across the aisle.
Jared Stansberry from Cyclones Fanatic. What kind of problems do you see the Clemson defense present?
A lot of them. I think not only schematically do they have the ability to attack you in a variety of ways, and from the front end and the back end in terms of those things, but I think you pair that with really good scheme, multiple scheme, paired with really good football players, and really intelligent football players, which I think is really a credit to their players and also a credit to their staff. That yes, they are very, very talented players, but I think that you see that those guys, they can handle a lot. They make very few mistakes. So I think from our end, there's a lot of challenges, and certainly they have played very good defense for a long time there, and certainly that's what we would anticipate.
Good morning. This is David Hood with TigerNet.com. You have a little bit of a wild card. You have a different defensive coordinator. Do you expect anything to change from what you've seen on film? You've got two guys that have really never called plays before. Do you expect anything different, or do you just go by what you've seen schematically from them all year?
Yeah, I think that there's certainly you have to have something to go by, but I think certainly that there's, I'm sure that they've had maybe some of their own wrinkles that they've wanted to put in, and maybe there's have been some things that have schematically that they're going to change. But I think in a few weeks, I don't know if you can dramatically change everything from a wholesale standpoint. So certainly there'll be elements we think, but also I think we're not naive enough to know that there's probably some new elements or some wrinkles or things that maybe they've done in the past that they would like to focus on a little bit more. And I think that certainly is a challenge for us, is that there are new coordinators that are certainly capable and have been around for a long time and have coached a lot of football. I think that is a challenge from our end, just trying to figure out what is going on in the football game. I think will be something that we have to certainly pay attention to.
Back on the left, two right back.
This is Scott Docterman with The Athletic. This is for Chase. You've been a part of this program that's really changed the culture over 5-6 years and gone from being what it was to what it is now, and a true contender. This year didn't quite finish the way you'd probably wanted to, but how do you define this year and then this era of Iowa State football, and how do you approach this game mentally in what is your finish here?
Yeah, I've been very fortunate to be at Iowa State at the time I'm here, along with the coaching staff that's been here, my fellow teammates. It's been really a blessing to be here at this time and being able to experience this. And this is I've played over 50 games here, so it's gone by really fast. And from where we came from to now, we've been through a lot of ups and downs. And like you said, this year, maybe we had different expectations at the start of the season, but I can tell you the guys in the locker room still pour our heart and soul into every game and every time we step on that field to make sure we can execute the game plan. So my focus is pretty much on that, and then whatever comes after that will come after that. But I'm just trying to enjoy the time left with my teammates and just send this thing out the right way.
Back up in the front.
Randy Peterson, Des Moines Register, Chase and Tom. What, in 2000, going back to 2019 now here, when you guys were here, what did the Notre Dame game, if anything, show you guys, tell you guys that, okay, we've got to make some changes? So what differences are there between then and now?
Yeah, you know, I don't know if maybe perhaps that game in particular was anything that was, you know, that wasn't the thing I think that felt, man, we needed, from our end of it, that season, I think we felt like, man, maybe we got away from some of the things that I think Coach Campbell always talks about in terms of, you know, the process and those kind of things. And I think maybe we felt like we skipped a couple steps in terms of those. And going to things such as fundamentals and techniques and making sure that we were still a relationship-driven program with our players. So I don't know if the Notre Dame game, it was more of the culmination of the season, probably than just our experience here in the bowl game. And I think you fast forward to where we are now. Obviously, you know, this year, I think for us, certainly we've always had really high expectations for our own football program. But I think as we look back into this season, I think you look at the guys like Chase Allens of the world and Charlie Kolar, Brock Purdy, guys like Breece Hall. You know, man, I think we look back with where those guys have started their career and where they have finished as men and as football players. And I think we're extremely proud of where we've come, probably even from 2 years ago at this time to where we are now.
Go back to Scott.
Yeah, Scott again from The Athletic. This is for Tom. As you just mentioned, you know, Brock Purdy, Breece Hall, Charlie Kolar, Chase Allen, Xavier Hutchinson, on and on. Probably won't be here next year, maybe one ops back, I don't know. What does that core group mean to this program and to Iowa State football? And secondly, how much of bowl preparation have you shifted to maybe taking an eye on 2022 and who's going to be replacing a lot of those players next year?
Yeah, I think first, the second part of your question, we've always focused the beginning of bowl prep for, man, maybe what would be coming into the future. It's an opportunity for us to, guys that have played over 50 games in their career, give them a little bit of rest before we have to prepare for the opponent. So certainly I think what is coming in the future is certainly something that we pay attention to and give them an opportunity to develop a little bit, get some meaningful reps in terms of practice. You know, and the guys that you just mentioned in terms of losing them, I think from a schematic standpoint, yes, we lose a lot of production. And I told these guys this maybe the night before we played our last regular season game. Losing this group of players, Brock Purdy, Charlie Kolar, Chase Allen, and the likes, for us, I think it's really difficult to lose those people in your hallways every day. I think that's going to be the biggest challenge in terms of great young men, really fun to be around, really are people that challenge you, I think, to be a better football player if you're on the team and a better coach, if you're on the coaching staff, because they've always been really hungry for it, and they're great people. So for us, losing a big part of the character piece and all the things that go with it, with those young men, I think that is the challenge of, one, replacing it, two, man, like personally, I'm going to miss them. But we hope that some of the things that they've done has, you know, as they poured into their teammates, has really rubbed off on them, and that we can help maybe grow and take the next step with the next group of guys. But for us, the biggest challenge certainly will be, yes, there's a huge production loss there when you look at the players that you just mentioned. But I think it is much bigger than that in what we have to replace on our football team. And we do feel really confident in the young people in our team. We hope that they can certainly emulate the guys that we're losing.
This is David Hood with TigerNet.com. Again, it's a question for both of you. First of all, no common opponent, so you finally find out who you're playing, you turn on the film. Was there any Clemson defensive player that once you kept watching the film, you kept going, yeah, I really like this guy, or he stands out? And then for you, played a lot of really good defenses in your career. Does this Clemson defense remind you of another defense that you've played?
Good, Jay.
I think in their ability to be versatile and their ability to just be very disciplined and play hard, they remind me of all the good defenses that we've played. And I've got a lot of respect for the Mike linebacker, for the guys on the defensive line, as well as like the safeties. I think they play hard and they know what they're doing and they go out there and execute. So I tip my cap to them, a lot of respect to them, but that's my answer.
Yeah, from our end, I'll be honest with you, I think there's a lot of guys that stick out. And I think that's the challenge. You know, I don't think that there's when you look at their defense structurally and they can play a lot of different personnels, I don't think there's a weak link in any of the different personnel groupings that they have. And certainly there's a lot of experience, you know, certainly they've had a lot of experience at the Mike linebacker position. I think both corners were first team all conference, and man, are they really good players. And the safety, I mean, they're really from top end to the bottom end, I think they're just a really talented group. And like Chase said, I think, man, it's really hard to find them not playing really, really hard. And that's always the sign of a great defense. And I think that's one thing, I know when Coach Haycock comes up here and has the opportunity to speak, that's the thing that he takes great pride in, is the defense playing really hard. And that sounds like a really simple thing, but you don't see it everywhere, and you see it every snap with these guys. And on top of that, they're really talented. So certainly, to answer your question, a lot of guys, I mean, everybody stuck out.
We have 2 more questions. Go Randy and then Scott.
Randy Peterson, Des Moines Register. Chase, 6, 7 years ago, whatever it was, when you first stepped on campus, go back over that. I mean, your first few days, whatever it was, the accident, for example, and what happened after that, and you're laughing, Tom. And what happened after that? Did you think you'd make it this far?
I think whenever I heard that some guy named Matt Campbell was getting the job here, I really wanted to come play football here, so I didn't really care who it was. And then I just got very fortunate, very lucky when I got to talk to him and the rest of the staff, found out who they were. And then we got there that first season, and things weren't really good. Didn't have a lot of the things that we needed to have in place that we do now. So being able to see that transition, but getting to play against a competition that we've played against the last 3 years, that's what we talked about when we first got here. Like, that's always been the goal and the mission. And every year that expectations within our walls grows. And it's our job as the senior class guys like Brock, Brees, Charlie, like, you guys have been lucky enough to see them as players. We've been lucky enough to know them as people and see the influence they have upon our walls. So it's big, and if we did our jobs correctly, we'll pass that on to the next group, and they will only continue to carry it higher.
Yeah, this is probably for both of you in the same way. And one is, I guess, first of all, the advantages of being able to play 12 and 13 personnel in this day and age. It's been a big plus for you guys schematically. How is that translated to the field? And then secondly, what does Brock Purdy mean to this program? The way he stepped in, I think, was at Oklahoma State as a true freshman, and then has helped coincide with the elevation of the program over 3.5+ years.
Yeah, I think first part of your question, in terms of the personnel, when we first got here to Iowa State, there wasn't a scholarship tight end on the roster. And I think where myself and Coach Campbell and kind of our philosophy of offense has always started around players, formations, and plays. And I think it's our job to find not only what do we think from a schematic standpoint that to make sure that we have enough to be successful in our conference, but on top of it to make sure that whoever your best football players are, having the opportunity to put them on the field and be in formations that help them get the football, and then obviously at the end of it, your plays are driven from those people. And I think as we've evolved, our hand was kind of forced a little bit in the terms of that we had some really good tight ends. And, obviously Dylan Sander the year prior to, and Chase and Charlie and Jared Russ, those guys, they provided us the opportunity to be a little bit different in terms of what happens in our conference. And also we felt that it has been very advantageous for us in terms of recruiting in the Midwest, which is really our footprint. So yeah, I think it's given us certainly flexibility. And I think we've been very lucky in terms of having Chase and Charlie that can play wide receiver and also play tight end, and be multiple in that sense of it. So I think that's always our job, is to find what the best players on your team are, and then how do you find the opportunities to be in the right situations, personnel-wise and formations. And we do, to answer your question, we do feel it is a luxury in terms of offensive football for us, that we can't be in 11 personnel, we can be in 12 and 13, and other times we can, be in 14 and things like that, which has helped us, we feel, be successful in terms of moving the football in a consistent fashion. And the Brock Purdy part, man, it's really hard to play quarterback somewhere for the extended period of time that Brock has played quarterback. When you come in as a freshman and you play, and you've been a consistent person, there's going to be high moments, and there's going to be moments when, man, it doesn't go so good. And you're going to probably get praise that you don't deserve, and you're probably going to get criticism that you don't deserve. And to me, Brock Purdy, we talk about it all the time, is man, the one thing that we really kind of hang our hat on in terms of offensive football in our room is, we feel, is toughness. And to steal it from Coach Wright from the Colts, is a relentless pursuit to get better every day and obsession to finish. And I think Brock Purdy has really paved the way for the young people in our program, and I think probably has inspired a lot of people in our program, whether coaches or younger players, that every day he comes and he is on a pursuit to be the best that he can possibly be. It is the exact same every day. And he's brought a lot of joy to, I think, the people of Ames, Iowa, the Cyclone fans, because that kid has really poured everything he possibly could into this football program. And, man, I know from a coaching standpoint, I got a great sense of gratitude towards him, just for his ability to just keep playing and, man, handle all the things that he had to handle with complete grace, humbleness, and great character. And I don't think, anybody that's been an Iowa State football fan for a long time, I don't think that they'll ever forget Brock Purdy and what he's been able to do over his career at Iowa State. And certainly, man, he's had some really good moments. But I think, furthermore, I think just his character, his belief in who he is and never wavering from that, I think certainly has probably paved more for the young people in our football program than anything else. You always feel like the cliche coach moment of, when your best players are your hardest workers, you feel really good. And certainly in Brock's case, he is that guy. So he means a lot to me personally. I know he means a lot to our team, and I'm quite certain that he means a lot to the people of Ames, Iowa.
All right, gentlemen, thank you for your time.